Hi, I'm Davi. I'm a third year computer science major with a minor in cognitive science. And if you are new, welcome. Hi. And so today's video is a little different. On Twitter, if you don't follow me on Twitter, it's Davi__CS. So Steven at middle_XX tweeted me on Twitter asking me to make a What's on My Mac video. So that's what we're going to do today. Thank you so much for Steven for recommending this, and if you guys have any videos that you would like to see on this channel, please leave in the descriptions or tweet me on Twitter. I'm very active on Twitter, so either one of those work. So to just jump right into it, I think we're going to start with my wallpapers. So I have 3 wallpapers. This is the middle one that I use. I've had this picture for a very long time. I think I was in like 5th grade when I found it, and I just really like it. It reminds me of an owl, so like it looks like eyes right here to me, and it's just like very abstract shapes, and I just really like it. So the one on the left is from the anime Demon Slayer, and I really like it. I'm very into anime. I also have a poster of the anime in my room as well. So this is Tanjiro from that anime. It's just him jumping about to, I can't say because it's spoiling the anime. So that's on the left side, and then on the right side is also someone else from Demon Slayer. This is Itsu, I think, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. That's just another character. He's a minor character, while Tanjiro is the main character. And so these are just the 3 wallpapers that I have for my laptop. And so for the main point, the middle page is the one that I have almost everything on. It's just what I use almost all the time if whatever I'm using is not full screen. On the left is usually just like little miscellaneous things, like maybe Safari opening for me to look something up if I'm coding, or just other things like that. While the right side is usually for media consumption. So I usually open like YouTube videos or like music that I'm playing solely on this page. I just like to be like decently organized, and for some reason that's just like works for me, is to keep everything in certain areas if it's not full screen. So that's just what I use. So the web browsers that I use are Safari and Chrome. Some things are more useful on Safari and some things are more useful on Chrome. That's just like the way that I like to do it. For the most part, I use Safari for almost everything. I use it for school, like here, and just like media consumption. While like Chrome is usually for my YouTube. So this is the YouTube right here, the Twitter, and just other things like that. I just kind of go back and forth, but for the most part, I use Safari as my daily driver for internet. A way that I keep organized is I use Google Calendar. I really like Google Calendar, and so that's just something that is very convenient for me. It's on your phone, it's on your iPad, it's on a laptop, and so I put all my classes in here, and as well as other things I need to do. So I have like this to do tomorrow. It's currently 11:55 a.m. on a Thursday, and I have class in about 30 minutes, and I have another class. And so this is just something that helps me keep organized. This is just all the stuff I have to do next week, so it's just a way to keep organized for me. Something else that I use to be organized is the Notes app, because that is also on all of the devices, like the phone and the iPad, because I have an Apple ecosystem, so I like to be a little bit more convenient in that terms of those things. And so I use the Notes app for like to-do lists of every day. So for example, I have spring 2020, and I just kind of do things that I have to do in that, and or I outline the YouTube video that I'm using, for example. And so this is just like the way that I stay organized. And so I have a physical planner that I sometimes put like test dates and assignments and stuff like that. I also have a calendar in my room. So I have a bunch of different things to stay organized, but specifically on my laptop, I use Google Calendar, and I also use the Notes app to stay organized on my laptop. So for my media or music consumption, I either watch like YouTube or I use Twitch. So on the laptop, it's actually super convenient because of the touch bar. I don't know if you can do it in a different way, but for example, if I was going to watch Nipmerks on Twitch, which I do very regularly, you're able to use the touch bar and put them into this little picture window. So I'm able to like open the thing onto this third page right here, but then also have it showing, and then I'm able to go back and forth on things that I'm using, so it's always playing. So that is something that I use for media consumption. And then I also use Apple Music. I haven't used it in a minute as it's currently loading, but that's okay. That's just the music I like to use when I'm doing something on my laptop. But for the most part, I'm either like watching something. I like to listen to just like background sound, and the background sound I like to do is video games. So either that be like watching Nick. I really like Nick, so either watching Nick and playing Fortnite, or I watch like ESL games for like CSGO. I watch the LCS a lot for League, because those aren't games that you have to like consistently watch, and they're not like super active or like super lit all the time. There'll be like, so in Fortnite, in the big first 10 minutes you're just looting, going around, and then you get into end game and you go off, and so then I'll be paying attention in that, or just like different things like that. But for the most part, I almost always have a game playing in some form or capacity, or on the laptop or on the iPad or something like that, so that I'm listening to something as I'm studying and working, because that's just how I like to do it. For writing papers and stuff, for the very few papers that I write, I use Microsoft Word. I'm not into the ecosystem of Google Drive yet. I just don't think I used that during high school, and that just wasn't what I used. So I just haven't been ingrained into using that. So I just use Word to write papers and stuff. And because all of my ecosystem is Apple, all of my products have this thing called files. So I'm able to go from when I'm writing notes in class on my iPad to go directly to my laptop. If I take a picture, my phone, I can send it to my iPad. It's just all very internet connected in a way. And so I use Word to write papers and stuff. And I also have all of the other Microsoft things like Excel or PowerPoint if I ever need to use those. And that's just what I use for myself in those certain scenarios. So this part may be a little more interesting, I guess. But for programming, I use Visual Studio Code. That is just the IDE that I personally like, and that's just what has been the most convenient for me. For example, this project right here it was due today, actually. And this was a project I wrote. I really like Visual Studio Code because the debugging system is very, very nice. And I really like this aesthetic part right here. I just think it's cool to see all of your code in a big block like that. And so I use Visual Studio Code for my computer graphics class, which is what this project was. And I also use it for my web programming class, because this also allows me to use HTML programs like that. And so I use it for both classes, and it's very, very simple. Like if I'm just gonna make a new file, like right here, and I want it to be test.html, it's already an HTML page. And so it will automatically like suggest things for me for HTML. It finishes tags immediately for me. And so I just like really like Visual Studio Code. Highly recommend it as an IDE. Very, very convenient. But yeah, that's just what I use for code. And in previous classes, I used the terminal and logged into a cluster node. And that's just what I used then. I'm not gonna log into that, but that's why this terminal is right here on my bar, because I also use that for programming in those specific classes. And then for some other assignments, I also use Atom sometimes. It just like depends on what I'm doing. For like personal things, I kind of like go back and forth between Atom and Visual Studio Code, because there's some high demands for one or the other. And so that is just what I use. I use Atom and I use Visual Studio Code for my programming assignments. Something I guess is a little fun is that I have League of Legends as well on my laptop. I really love video games. It's just one of my favorite things. So I actually don't play like the normal League on my laptop. I usually play TFT, so Team Fight Tactics. It's just like not as intensive on my laptop, though it just kind of drains the battery if you're not having it plugged in. But it flows really nicely, and it just no lag, little to no lag. So that is just like also why this is here, because I also play that. But I don't play it all the time, because life is hard and school is a lot. But that is also something on my laptop. Another thing that I use is Skype, because sometimes my friends and I are studying and stuff, and we're not like physically together. And if I need to show my laptop screen on Skype, you're able to share your screen, which I think is very, very convenient. My main editing software right now is iMovie, but right now iMovie is really great for me. I'm able to make coherent videos, as you've seen, using it, and I'm learning new tips and tricks every day about how to edit in a more coherent way. So one day I'll probably up the quality of my videos, but as of right now, that's just what I have right here. And so for the most part, I think that's it. I don't really know what else would be super exciting on my laptop. The workflow that I have is just, 3 separate pages. Each page has a different background and each one has a different purpose, essentially. But this is just the workflow that I use. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. It was a little different because I've actually never thought of this video before. But again, thank you to Steven for recommending this video to me on Twitter. And again, if you don't follow me on Twitter, it's at Davi__CS. I'm very active on it. If you ever have a question about computer science or college, or I have any recommendations, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.